आप जरा आगे ले लीजिएगा. ये लगे क्या बोला? I am not from Dadara. Aika है. I am not from a Santa Cruz East. Traumatized by car subway. Hashtag girl.
परत एकदा अजून.
Yeah. I'm anything but ladylike. Nothing. I've never had a question about lyrics or the R's and the O's. चोली के पीछे क्या है? The mind has answered that question.
Brilliant song.
दिल है मेरा डम. कैसे काय चिकनास. हेलो दोस्तों और उन सब लोगों को जो बस वाईफाई वेस्ट करने आए हो ना, स्वागत है. मैं हूँ इशिता अरुण, खुद की बिगेस्ट क्रिटिक, क्योंकि ओवर थिंकिंग का नेशनल अवार्ड तो मैं ले ही चुकी हूँ. एक्टिंग, कंटेंट क्रिएशन और कभी कभी अपने ही जोक्स पे हंसना, ये सब मेरा डेली रूटीन है. बट नो मैटर व्हाट आई डू, लोग बस एक ही बात याद रखते हैं, आंट यू द आइका दाजीबा वाली लड़की? यस, वो मैं ही हूँ. और अब मीम्स और रील्स के जरिए अपनी लेगेसी और डाउनग्रेड कर रही हूँ.
Welcome to Creative Talkative with Keitki Tiwari.
Yeah, we're creative and talkative. There's no stopping this. There's no topping this. Time to explain what's in our veins, what's in our minds. Take a peek into these lives. Yeah, we're creative and talkative. There's no stopping this. There's no topping this. Time to explain what's in our veins.
खामोशियों से, तन्हाइयों से हूँ मैं गिरा यूं ही, शामों सवेरे दर दर बसेरे मैं ढूंढता फिरा.
You've had this very rich culture and surrounded by all that growing up, right? And I'd like to think of you as this mixer grinder who has absorbed things from here, there. Now you've churned everything and now you're like throwing out stuff which everyone is like, oh my God. But when you grow up in an environment where your mamaji and your mom and everybody from your family is so creative and your exposure is to theatre and art and music and stuff like that, how was that?
I think mixer grinder is the right terminology for my life experience because, like you said, I had a very early exposure to theatre, to music, advertising actually, and to literature. I grew up with a lot of theatre artists and rehearsals happening at home because in the 80s there were no like rehearsal halls, so it would happen in our hall or on the terrace or and then of course lots of ad world parties and hangs at our house. It was sort of a no-brainer for me to be somewhere connected to the performing arts industry. And I started off very early, so I started off as a child model, and then when I went towards my 10th is when I took my studies really seriously. I landed at a 96 or something like that. I think
Really?
91, I think 96 chalo na. It gets inflation के बाद 96.
Marksheet हम लोग वैसे भी नहीं मांगने वाले.
96.
96.
100 बोलो ना, 100%. Then I landed in Xavier's. I was working very earlier on, so like TYBA, third year Bachelor of Arts, I got Miss India.
Correct.
And that's when I had to drop out of Xavier's and then do my TYBA from the university.
I think in a lot of ways we're very similar because childhoods were very different. Because I came from a complete non-creative background, but still decided that I wanted to get into JJ. But you were in Xavier's, which is right behind. Secondly, your love for languages, whether it is Marathi, whether it is Gujarati. So we have that passion and love for languages. You're the first woman on our this season. Huh? We had only men. So I said, oh, parat ekda azun.
Yeah.
Let's start with your Vicks ad because I'm sure you've been asked this many times. But it is, I think, one of the cutest ads, one of the cutest babies that I've seen in Indian advertising. Especially that wink.
I think Procter & Gamble was already in the midst of shooting Vicks. and they had cast Jalal Aga's daughter
Okay.
as the Vicks girl. Suresh uncle came, I jived with him, he was taken in, she got pushed out, I got cast. After that, I don't know, कोई building में था, I don't know how, उधर जाके क्या shot हुआ, I just know कि I went in, आधे घंटे में I went out. Because I went there, they said, Jayant uncle will tell you a story, and then you have to wink. And I winked. Yeah, and I used to wink then too. So I think the wink was my idea. It just came while shooting, and that's that. And then the fact is that it was not the norm for, it was in the 80s, early 80s, to have a young girl wink was suggestive. It went off air because they had an issue with a young 4-year-old winking to an elder man, and it was off air for a few years, I feel. Then it was reposted in color, and I think back again in 85, 86, and it apparently went on to be the longest running ad.
Yeah. So वहीं से सब drama शुरू हो गया, winking, dancing, acting, everything started then, right?
100%. 100%.
And so then you did a lot of ads after that.
Yeah, I did. I did.
I've seen one ad with Neena Gupta also.
Yes, that was Robin.
Correct.
Auntie Poo was the director and producer of that one. Yeah, so I think I must have done about 50, 60, I'm not sure, about 100.
You know, when Ilaji was singing and getting famous for the kind of songs that she was singing, did it ever feel like, I don't know how old you are when Choli Ke Piche released or when Nigodi happened, but did you have a lot of questions ki kaise gaane hain, kya gaane hain? Nothing.
No, none at all. You see, I'm from a folk family. I'm from a very, very normal middle class, now bifurcated Sanyukt Parivar, and we are from UP. If you have ever, and this is सब कान्यकुब्ज ब्राह्मणों के जो घर पे हिंदी में और अवधी में और खड़ी बोली में जो शादी के गाने होते हैं वो बहुत ही नॉटी होते हैं. सो इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल.
करेक्ट.
वो ऐसे लहजे में गाए जाते हैं कि दे साउंड वेरी नाइस, बट आप उसको ब्रेक डाउन करेंगे तो देन दे आर लाइक दे आर क्वाइट सजेस्टिव. And I think Anand Bakshi ji wrote it like a very superb piece of writing because it's a hook and then it leaves you wondering, चोली की पीछे क्या है? The mind has answered that question.
Brilliant song.
दिल है मेरा dumb.
So why didn't Ilaji act in the song?
Please ask her because she sang the song.
Correct.
Then she said, लोग क्या कहेंगे? I will not do it. She was asked to do it.
She should have. It would have added so much.
I love Neena auntie, but my mom would have killed it.
Yeah, really, because she has this savage expression.
I also was there when she won the Filmfare. Alka auntie and she, I remember the Filmfare was one trophy between two singers.
Really? Ka?
Budget Nasnar.
Miss India, let's talk about that. So, this was which year?
2000.
And this was the same year. So, when you were growing up, Piyush Mama was your roommate, and then during Miss India, Priyanka Chopra was your roommate.
Yes.
So, you had this history of very interesting roommates.
I guess you gotta be my roommate.
Right.
To hear it back, no. Yeah, so I did the Miss India. Miss India was actually more because of Aishwarya, actually. I have to thank Ash for that, for whatever it's worth. Not that I won, but it was a good experience. It's one for the books. It was my dad who introduced me to Western dancing, to like great skin. How do you take care of your skin? Not my mom, my father.
Oh, wow.
How do you always have the collarbone out and like moisturize? He's like a total shippy. So he always said ki like after Ash, Sush, Ish. I have many, many memories, but I think the most positive one is the fact that from that year, we have about 90% of all the girls currently doing something big with their lives. I'll never forget when Lara walked into the room, no, I'm like, I don't know who was sitting next to me. I said, ये भाई, मैं तो जीतने ही नहीं वाली हूँ. So she walked in only like one miss and Lara is like too good. She walked in only and I was like, ah, and I was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be her competitor. I would be surprised if Lara didn't win.
So let's talk about Dhruv, that you got married at 25, but you knew him since the age of 6.
Yeah, it's funny actually. We keep joking about it. Dhruv's grandfather reinstated my granddad in Jaipur in the bank world, the government bank world. I think our mothers, his uncle, my aunts, they all were in the same college.
So, ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ ना कि when you guys were born, then it was like चलो रिश्ता पक्का समझो.
No, but it was pre-audition. There's no chance I could have landed with anybody else because I think we first crossed paths in a movie called Trikal Shyam Benegal's because Girish Uncle was assisting Shyam Benegal and my mother was, no surprises, playing a maid. I love you, Shyamam, but my mother's only played a pregnant prostitute, a weaver, poor, downtrodden, a maid. Dhruv and Joy, who are child actors, because they're really fantastic, both of them. They were playing big parts. I have one scene in the movie, but in my resume I've written I'm in Trikal.
Trikal, of course.
One scene is like what?
Because that scene is the reason why people are watching it.
अगदी बरोबर असं कसं हे
मग काय
मग एक्झॅक्टली असंच बोलायचं ह्यांचा नंबर घेऊया आपण and plug in करूया कसं. There is an infamous story. Apparently there was this well at that Mario Miranda house. And I said I'll jump into this well if Dhruv and Joy don't marry me. And if you then after this backstory, if you see us in the scene now, we're sitting like this clueless. I'm sitting here, meaning I'm sitting on the handle. Dhruv is next to me, and Joy is next to him. Clueless.
Let's talk about the latest dhamaka that you are creating on social media. Okay, I think it's one of the, I've told you this before also, and at the end of a very hectic day, all I have to do is watch a couple of reels and I'm like, maza aa gaya. This was a natural progression. Did you have this in mind when you started, or when you said that I want to do something different and therefore I'm just going to bring all the things that naturally come to me together and then package it, like I said, mixer grinder?
I knew always in my head, माझी लायकी काय आहे, like what I'm capable of, right? And I knew what I want to do. But what happens is that you have to adjust that knowledge with the opportunities you're presented with. I landed in a very comfortable, but also very inertia sort of a plateau after I had my kids. And I have adult ADHD now. I know that. I always knew it. It was used in a very like casual term, but this is like medically now proven. So I attribute my hyper focus on things I like and also the ability to do many things to that, especially when you come from a very extremely highly achieving family. You self-edit a lot. So I had a very big battle with that internal voice to come onto Instagram and do it regularly because it was also articulated outside. Dhruv, my mom did not understand what reels are. I love you guys, but didn't. They're like, relay karti rehti ho, what is this? You're just doing reels the whole day. So I said ki, I'm not taking anybody's anything, main to karti hu. And I kept doing. But in that 1 year, I realized that I had grown in confidence. And I also realized that my strongest supporter and the strongest critic is nobody other than me, myself.
Yourself, correct.
I remember people like even they're coming and asking me what was my niche because I wanted to grow Instagram, right? And I was like really frustrated because I was like, chance to mil nahi raha hai, koi opportunity de nahi raha hai. I'll invest in my Instagram, but agencies didn't want to touch me at that point in time. I was like, you obviously don't know when a woman who has popped out babies and is
ठाण लेती है.
yeah, no, that chul, ना that कीड़ा काय म्हणतात कीड़ा म्हणतात मराठीमध्ये आणि चूल in UP and whatever की वो है ना कि मैं कि who told me I can't meaning
अब तो मैं दिखा दूंगी.
the other thing that I kind of realized is that I am for a very long time people associated being from a very nice family with lot of ladylikeness. I'm I'm anything but ladylike. Nothing. And my spirit animal is a Mumbaikar. I've been raised by Maharashtrians.
Correct.
My लहानपणी जी होते जी आया होती ती महाराष्ट्रीयन होती.
Correct.
तिच्यासोबत काय बघतं 80s मध्ये काय बघणार मी टीव्ही वरती डीडी मध्ये बंदिनी 100 आव्हान पुढे आव्हान and I travel by train, I travel by rickshaws. This is what I have grown up with. So my mother did that with Rajasthan. I'm doing that with Maharashtra.
One thing you really love and one thing you really hate about this thing that you're doing right now.
I am really like pushing myself to my creative limits. So my only complaint and only love would be I love storytelling and ideating. I think the only part I hate, two things that I don't like is that it takes a lot of energy from me, which I could stand to give my family. I want my kids to know that it's okay to be a woman at 40 and still reinvent. My mother actually is it's a page of her book. She hit it big at 40.
Being a mother has made me so much more creative than I thought I could ever be. So, like you said, no, that once you cross your 40s and how you reinvent yourself and all, I feel that after I became a mom, because you have to use and be creative in your day-to-day life to get your kid to eat, to get him to sleep, for everything.
So one thing is that I love shivis. And I'm a shameless shivi giver.
Yeah, so why not? A lot of Mumbaikars, I mean, that's the Mumbaikar spirit.
How will you
actually.
survive here?
Yeah, correct.
आप जरा आगे ले लीजिएगा ये लगे क्या बोला ले लीजिएगा मीनिंग my Hindi is reserved for songs. You like it? Great. You don't like it and I have some prudes coming on my comment and saying बायकांना असं so चला
पुढे चला.
हा पुढे चला कशाला
Mumbaikar
इथे
line. पुढे चला, पुढे चला.
हा सरळ खड्ड्यात.
We thought we'll do some fun discussion on Mumbai. So,
Oh, pet topic. PhD आहे माझी
बघा
PhD.
प्रश्न असे विचारणार ना मी. So from one Mumbaikar to another, here goes. What has been the biggest gender change in this city as far as the monuments of the city go?
I can't take his name. Chhatrapati Shivaji, Terminus Station.
बिचारी विक्टोरियाचं
Victoria's शिवाजी झालं.
If for a day the Mumbai taxi driver had to wear a superhero costume, which would be the most popular one according to you?
शी मैं मार्वल नहीं देखती इतना मगर वो कौन है वो फ्लैश.
In how many different ways or sounds can you call out to a Mumbaikar in a market?
ए बिडू
Boss.
बॉस. अरे हाँ भाभी तो बहुत कम बोलते हैं. भाभी का धक्का जो लगता है ना कोई भाभी बोले.
Madam बोलते madam.
मैडम.
Me, I'm your only Adam. If you could personalize your street name, your office or घर का, okay, and you could call it something really wacky.
श्री
हसून घे मला पहिले.
याला एडिट करायला पाहिजे. श्री वायकर बोल रस्ते बनवले नाहीये. रस्ता मार्ग इथे यायचं कष्ट करू नका मार्ग.
That's a good one. Just her expression is like giving me ideas.
खोदलेला rhyming with that Leela. Rasta. Where from here, God knows. For the next idea and whatever shape that takes. ज़्यादा नहीं सोचने का बस. Seriously, वो overthinking is a very big problem. Women have and typically I have. ज़्यादा नहीं सोचने का. You need to kind of just do. I take every creator who's half my age as my competitor. It is strange, but I write down or I remember everything that has been said in the nay department, not because I hold a grudge, because I need to remind myself that that is the thought process that I'm up against. I love when somebody mentally writes me off or has a comment which is completely misplaced. If it's true, it's true. You got to live with that. But if it's not, I take that as a motivation to kind of like compete to be better. I'm waiting to get his pants and white t-shirt or black t-shirt.
That's your uniform, na?
हे पिशवी नको बघा त्याला असं
It has to look beautiful.
Yeah.
This wall. It was like, because some of these instruments are so interesting, and I saw this and
these
I was
are all
like,
Dhru's lovely collection. We wanted to make a guitar wall, and this is completely his idea. When Aika Dajiba released,
we didn't talk about Aika Dajiba. I was scared. Honestly, the reason, because I had heard you say somewhere, if now anybody talks about Aika Dajiba, I'm going to beat you. So I didn't ask you about that. But
I said that. Beauty of ADHD is, I've forgotten what I've said.
so yes.
Today I will not beat you.
Now that you have come up with the topic, let's talk about Aika Dajiba. And
Aika Dajiba, no, I'll tell you the fun part of it. When it became a hit, so my driver was this really rash driver. He used to break signals back in the days. And I was always in a ghai, so I never told him anything. Every time we were stopped, first time we were stopped, the cop looked behind and said, "अरे तुम्ही तेच आहे ना ते ऐका ताजेमध्ये जा तुम्ही." He figured कि अब मेरे पास like trump card है, अब भी वो कभी भी he would break the signal and say थांबा. He would put the window down. ऐका ताजीबा, okay. Last में I said तुम इतना भी क्यों कर रहे हो? Next signal तोड़ के ना तुम्हें नीचे उतर के I'll just start dancing and he'll say very good जाने दो. This is Dhru's space. I'm a squatter.
Correct. So where do you create? I've seen you do a lot of. बाबा तुम्ही लोक बोलत असताना कसं? We are being polite. You took the time out, and so this is a little gift for you for taking taking the weekend to spend time with us, chat with us. So we thought we will give you gift.
Gift? Ugdu ya
Oh, please ugda.
This is perfect. Mirchi, exactly. Mirchi नहीं बोलने का भाई. Cheers, तुम्ही पण चला.
हो.
Cheers. घेऊन टाक बोलायचं चल.
असं? Okay. आतमध्ये?
नाही
असंच. Okay. Cheers.
घेऊन टाक. हे जास्त तिखट नाही ना?
नाही.
एकशे काय होणार?
और भी है.
The best vada pav, dude. Kirti College, Ashok vada pav. You know that?
Sura that they put on top.
अशोक वड़ा पाव मेरे को शेयर खरीदने का है या मेरे को आप स्पॉन्सरशिप दे दो ना मैं बहुत
या फ्री वड़ा पाव मांगो आप जितना खाते हो.
ऐका ना भाऊ कोण आहे तिथे
Do subscribe for updates, like, share and follow us on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, as well as creativetalkative.com.